You know what Magic Johnson and Arnold Schwarzenegger had in common, other than they lived in the same city? They both were multi-dimensional. And what does that mean? Magic Johnson he just wasn't into the NBA. He was one of the greatest NBA players of all time, but he also was very, very successful at business and very successful into going into media. Arnold Schwarzenegger, very successful at bodybuilding, very successful at acting, and very successful in politics, right? They're multi-dimensional. And that's what this documentary, They Call Me Magic, goes into, are these different dimensions. It's not just basketball, but all the different phases of his life. And it's really cool to see how we can be multi-dimensional as well. I'm going to be going over 3 points today. Point number 1 is branding. Magic Johnson, just think of it. His literal nickname was Magic. Like, what kind of nickname? Who gets the nickname of Magic? I mean, that's just incredible, right? Having your own nickname of here's what you can do. And the story behind how he got that was he was in high school. It wasn't even when he was in the NBA. But when he was in high school, he was playing, and he played so unbelievably well that I believe it was his junior year that he was playing, and this reporter came up to him. He's like, dude, we got to give you a nickname. He's like, okay, well, I don't know what you want to do. He's like, well, I mean, Dr. J's already taken, and a couple of these other ones are already taken. What if we called you Magic? And he just busts up laughing. He's like, dude, nobody will ever call me Magic. My homies will never call me Magic. And what are we calling him today? Magic Johnson. That nickname stuck because he was magic on the court. Nobody ever saw the things that he was doing on the court, behind the back passes and no look passes and all this crazy stuff, right? And so his brand, think of it like that, just like in business, his brand was magic, and that stuck with him. And so he took that into business. Magic theaters and magic this and magic this. And so everything he did was relating to his brand. So think about that with your own personal brand and with your business. What nickname? Here's a really good question. What nickname would you give yourself? And what nickname would you give your business? Or if other people were looking at you, what would they give you and what would they give your business? If you think about that question, you can actually build a big brand around a nickname, just like MJ or Shaquille O'Neal with using Shaq as his name. The Shaqtus. He has like 50 different, you can look up Shaq nicknames, and he built his brand around Shaq, right? It wasn't around O'Neal, okay? So think about that. That's an awesome point for your marketing. Now, point number 2 is he was able to handle so much pressure. I remember hearing a comedian, I think it was Bill Burr, who said, he's like, man, Tiger Woods, everybody gives Tiger Woods so much flack for cheating on his wife. He's like, yeah, I think it was wrong, but at the same time, as an accountant or as whoever you are, doing your normal life, when you leave a golf course, are women literally throwing themselves at you? No, they aren't. You're not receiving the same kind of temptations that Tiger Woods is his entire life. He walks out the door, he goes on the practice course, he goes out to a restaurant, and people are literally offering him temptation, drugs, and dark money, and women, and all this other stuff. He is being tempted so much every single day because of his fame. And so, yes, was it wrong? Yes, it was. But what would you have done in his situation? Maybe you would have avoided it for the first 2 years or the first 5 years. But after 10 years, that would be really hard. And the whole point is, like, again, it's wrong behavior. And there's always that temptation. And his ability, Magic Johnson's ability to handle that pressure from being the best player in high school to then going to college and handling that pressure of, man, this guy is the best. It's kind of like when you go out onto the court and if nobody thinks that you're going to be good and then you're like decent, people are like, oh, wow, they're pretty amazed, right? They're like, oh, that's actually shocking. I didn't think that. Good for him. But imagine you're supposed to be the very best player and you go out and you're just okay, or you have a decent game. Then people are like, oh, he's not all hyped up the way that we thought. This is all hype. This isn't real, right? Well, especially with having a nickname of literally Magic, right? If you don't go out and perform Magic, people are going to say he doesn't live up to his name, right? That's handling pressure at the highest level. He had to do that with high school, college, and the NBA. And then not to mention, like I said, with all the drugs, women, and everything else that goes with being a famous person and his ability to handle that fame, right? Lesson number 3 is high-paying jobs aren't enough. This is an awesome example, just showing the sheer fact that having a job, no matter how high paid it is, once you stop doing that work, the income stops coming in because the job is related to your actual work. And that's the reason why, I mean, the list goes Mike Tyson, MC Hammer, who wrote, who was the singer of You Can't Touch This, Dennis Rodman, Allen Iverson, and so many other famous celebrities, Lindsay Lohan. They all went broke after their high-paying jobs ended, right? Because it was so easy to get all this money, but then once they stopped working and they kept on living the same lavish lifestyle, their money just went away, because they didn't keep on getting money. Well, he saw that from other athletes. He said, I don't want to end up being like that. How can I keep on getting money? How can I use my brand and go in and do better and better things? So he went into business and he got equity. He didn't get a salary. He got equity because equity is lasting. Equity keeps on coming in. And he went into movie theaters, Starbucks franchises. He bought a piece of the LA Lakers, the WNBA team, the LA Sparks. He bought into the LA Dodgers. And then he also went into several different media outlets as well. And so he went into the equity side of business because he knew that his job would never be enough. Even though he was making millions upon millions every single year, he knew that once he stopped, all his income, his cash flow would stop as well. And then he was just left with dead Benjamins that aren't making any more money anytime soon. So that's my overview of They Call Me Magic. Please, my recommendation is that you do 2 things. 1, you go and watch this documentary. It's very well done, 4-part series, and look at your own takeaways that you can apply into your own life and your own business. And then 2, watch one inspirational movie or documentary every single week. And I promise you that as you do, you're going to not only become more and more inspired to become like these people, you're going to have your own heroes that you can look up to, but you're also going to start learning from their strategies and what they did to become that person. And pretty soon they're going to be making documentaries about you, and they're going to say, man, how did he do that? A part of it is you had idols that you could look up to and you could replicate. If you need a movie list, I have a movie list on my website. It's in the link below. Click on it. And with that said, I will see you guys next time.